Hi, everybody, welcome back, and thank you for being here and spending time with me. This weekend, I'm going to address some things which had been bothering me for a while, and I'm going to address it on both this channel and my other channel. And I'm going to address the same basic issue in terms of what we are talking about here and in terms of crimes which are currently making the headlines. Now, I wanted to start this particular video by reading an African folk tale, but I'll leave that for later in this video. Okay, the first thing I want to address is this. I have never bothered much with watching my subscriptions or any of my statistics until about 5 or 6 months ago. I started watching it because, one, I often hear other creators talking about their subscribers and their statistics, so it is a good thing to compare what you're doing with what others are doing from time to time. I mean, basically, just to ensure that you are still on the right track and relevant and so on. Secondly, YouTube has become more and more important to me as preparing these videos are taking more and more of my time than it did before when I only posted 2 or 3 videos per week. It has become my company, my daily goal, and a large portion of my income. Having said that and being very open and honest about it, there was more that I noticed over the last few months. Whenever a title of my video mentions Harry and Meghan, and Meghan more so than Harry, or my video title indicates that I'll be talking about the children, my views actually soar. Yet, if the title indicates that I'm going to talk about anything or anybody else, my views drop significantly. So I'm going to tell you exactly what is happening because I'm not the only one this is happening to. It happens to everyone across the board, except maybe for mainstream news channels. Maybe. And why? Because it appears that most people, obviously not everybody, but most or many people prefer to listen to the more salacious, gossipy stories than they do listening to facts and just plain newsworthy things. And that is why Harry and Meghan will dominate the royal news for as long as they are still affiliated with the royal family. William and Catherine can be as nice, as genuine, and as honest and hardworking as humanly possible, and every article talking about them will lead to 2 or 3 stories about Harry and Meghan. Because the media, be it mainstream or social media, need to sell, and therefore they have to print or produce what will sell, and what sells better? The salacious and the gossip. Okay, now I think everyone gets it. So, what happens if, say, Harry and Meghan don't do anything stupid like drive around the city block in a 7-car motorcade for a few days or even for a few weeks? Well, one of two things or both. Old nonsense gets rehashed, or stories are made up to keep the narrative going. And you know what? It makes me a little sick to my stomach. Yes, is everything I bring you always 100% true? No, of course not. I don't live with Harry and Meghan, and I'm not a fly on their wall. 80% of the time, I rely on what is in the media or I rely on gossip, which may or may not be true. And as far as possible, I tell you it is gossip and I cannot verify it. But on the odd occasion, I get something from one or two people which I know is fact or factual. And then I'll tell you so as well. And on such rare occasions, I will even stand up and defend my information regardless of what others have to say. I don't care whether someone is a real journalist or has a channel 3 times the size of mine. When I know something, I know. But like I said, if I don't, then it is gossip. Gossip, but at least not a fairy tale I made up in my dreams or in the morning while I pondered whether I want to get up or not. At least I try to leave fiction and fairy tales for the stuff that I write, my creative writing. Do you guys have any idea how often I get DMs or email with a screenshot of something from Twitter, now X, or from Quora or somewhere else, asking me whether what was posted was true or not? Well, it is firstly very likely that I don't know whether it is true or not. And secondly, some of it is so ridiculous that it would take a seriously warped mind to even consider it to be true. Okay, at this point, I think it is the ideal time to read to you the African folk tale my grandson used for his performing art project today. Once upon a time, there lived a wise man by the name of Mamat. He never lied. All the people in the land, even the ones who lived 20 days away, knew about him. The king heard about Mamat and ordered his subjects to bring him to the palace. He looked at the wise man and asked, Mamat, is it true that you never lied? It is true. And you will never lie in your life? I'm sure in that. Okay, tell the truth, but be careful. The lie is cunning and it gets on your tongue easily. Several days passed and the king called Mamat once again. There was a big crowd. The king was about to go hunting. The king held his horse by the mane. His left foot was already on the stirrup. He ordered Mamat, go to my summer palace and tell the queen I will be with her for lunch. Tell her to prepare a big feast. You will have lunch with me then. Mahmud bowed down and went to the king. Then the king laughed and said, we won't go hunting, and now Mahmud will lie to the queen. Tomorrow we will laugh on his behalf. But the wise Mahmud went to the palace and said, maybe you should prepare a feast for lunch tomorrow, and maybe you shouldn't, because maybe the king will come by noon, and maybe he won't. Tell me, will he come or won't he? Asked the queen. I don't know whether he puts his right foot on the stirrup or he puts his left foot on the ground after I left. Everybody waited for the king. He came the next day and said to the queen, the wise Mamat, who never lies, lied to you yesterday. But the queen told him about the words of Mamat, and the king realized that the wise man never lies and says only that which he saw with his own eyes. You see, guys, this perfectly illustrates where you should find yourself with most things you are presented with in the media and social media. Be wise and believe only in what you can see. So if something comes to you without receipts, rather take it not only with a pinch of salt, but instead a spadeful. Okay, guys, now that's it from me. I'll be back with part 2. The next thing which bothers me, and I promise I'll present it in a similar fashion with a story to illustrate it. So until then, take good care of yourselves. Bye.